It seems like an eternity ago, but let's not forget that not that long ago, before he launched the National Guard in Washington, D.C., Donald Trump sent the National Guard to Los Angeles to help round up all of the immigrants and, of course, to put down those nasty LA rioters, which were actually mostly just peaceful protesters. And so once all that died down, everybody kind of forgot about it, but the administration didn't. You see, they have actually empaneled grand juries in California to bring the evidence against all of the protesters that they arrested so that they can secure indictments and put these people behind bars forever. The only problem is Donald Trump's Department of Justice is, one, so low on lawyers, and two, they keep bringing in federal witnesses, federal agents, who keep lying to the grand juries that they are really having underwhelming success with securing indictments against these LA protesters. And what's interesting about that, as Tech Dirt points out, is basically a grand jury is a one-sided, totally lopsided event. The old saying in the legal profession is you could get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. And the reason for that is because the prosecutor gets to go in front of the grand jury, present all this evidence, spin it however they want, and there's nobody on the other side. It's not even a one-on-one, debate. It's one guy or woman, whoever, saying, here's the stuff, give me an indictment. So it is the most lopsided thing ever, which is why grand juries typically come back with some indictments. But in the case of the LA protesters, out of 38 cases presented in front of grand juries, only 7 have resulted in any indictments. That's not exactly a great track record. Most of these individuals, who have no say in a grand jury, they can't go talk or testify or anything. But most of these individuals have just found out later on, hey, the charges against me were dropped. That's wonderful. And it gets even funnier. The reason these charges are being dropped and so few people are being indicted is because Donald Trump's federal agents keep lying to the grand jury. And we know that because we've got some of the testimony and transcripts. Let me read you this. This is from a testimony. The DHS's own subsequent reports reveal multiple factual discrepancies in the narrative initially presented by officers and prosecutors. While this complaint against suggested that Cerny, Camacho, Ramos Brita, and Mojica attacked agents in protest of their sister's arrest, records show the women were arrested in a separate incident which occurred after the men were detained. Border Patrol agent Eduardo Mayorado, a key witness considered a victim of the assaults, appeared to initially give inaccurate testimony about the order of events. He clarified the timeline when questioned, a DHS special agent wrote in a report 3 days after the charges were filed. A supervisor on the scene also documented the correct chronology in a later report and apologized for errors, saying, due to the chaos of the events that day, some events may have been miscommunicated. In other words, the grand jury, where the prosecutors trying to get an indictment, had to tell them, all right, listen, we've got these witnesses and they say all this bad stuff happened. However, these same witnesses, these federal agents, also later on said that those things didn't happen. The whole reason we're even here, these officers already admitted that they weren't accurate in their reports. So can I have an indictment? And the grand jury is just like, what? No, you can't. You're literally telling us that these people lied about why the people were arrested in the beginning. So what are we even doing here? Why are we listening to you tell us that the people you're trying to prosecute are totally innocent and the federal agents are the ones who are the goddamn liars? Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening, folks. These people that were snatched off the streets for engaging in their constitutional right to protest did nothing wrong. That's what this report tells us. And the government knows they did nothing wrong, but they're wasting time and resources to try to convince these unconvincing people that obviously they all need to go to jail. Thankfully, we clearly still have one part of the government that's working, in terms of grand juries. I don't know beyond that if anything is still functioning in this country properly, but for now, these grand juries are kind of saving at least a little slice of our country. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.